So I'm going to take you through working with SQL. As I mentioned earlier, SQL has two major components, DDL or DML. First, we will start with DDL. I will run you through DDL commands where create, alter, drop is used. I will use combination of these commands on sample database on which we will practice. Sample database is very similar to star schema. So we will try out some analytical query on that particular schema. So there is a central fact table linked to one or more dimension. So that is the structure of a star schema. So this is the structure we are going to use. So before you work with database, obviously you have to choose DBMS. In our case, we are using MySql DBMS. It's an open source DBMS. Every DBMS comes with lots of tools, client tools with which you can write with the SQL commands, both DDL and DML. In our case, we are using MySql Workbench, which is a graphical GUI tool. So let's you navigate through schema in a visual manner with point and click. Within MySql Workbench, there is a window where you can run SQL command as well. So right now in front of me, there is a MySql Workbench. I have some pre-created commands there that we will be using. What I will do, I will walk you through each of the command and will explain you what is going on so that you can practice subsequently. Uh, so if you want to practice to have a copy with you of a particular script or command for your reference for future use, you can note it down too. So whenever you are working with database, you need to create a schema first. And the schema creation mechanism may vary depending upon the DBMS we are using. Since we are using MySql, I am going to show you how to create a schema for database using the commands that are available. So first command which you are with which you are beginning to work with brand new database which does not exist yet. So you have to come first, your first command will be create database. Create database in some system is also referred as create schema. So what we will do, I have given you written what is how to write it down, create database. So I will read first this slide. You will learn how to create and use a database, also known as a schema, in MySql Workbench. You will need to specify the database that you need to use. This is even after creating a database, the MySql Workbench does not select your newly created database automatically. The syntax for these operations is given below. First, for create database, you have to create database star, for example, use star. These will be the commands for creating and for using the database. So now what we will do, we will go to the MySql. So this is the workbench where I have already written the commands. I am creating market star schema or database. We can somewhere we are using this as a schema, somewhere we can use also as a database. Both are similar things. So first command to create database is create database market star schema. This market star schema is the name of the database. All the SQL command is terminated with semicolon. This semicolon. That is another thing you have to remember, because when you are putting it into a script and running it in a non-interactive mode, then semicolon become important. Whereas if you are sitting in MySql Workbench, sometimes highlighting it and execute will work, but get into the habits of putting semicolon at the end of command. So by using create database, you can create the database in your SQL workbench. Now, creating database is not sufficient. So in MySql, before using commands to given database, you have to say that this is my database on which I want to work. So this is accomplished by using command use market star schema. If I have created recently this schema, but I want to use some another database, then I have to write it down use XYZ. At this time, I also want to point out that this create database and then database name, this command typically issue only once in the entire lifetime of a database. It is not like that you are doing it in every session. You logged in, so you would have typically designed your database using ER diagram, whatever ones you finalize, use of tables, constants and everything. Then you will get into this type of particular mode and create the database only once. So you after creating database, you will only use a command. Once you have created create database, after that if you use the same database, you have to use only this one command, use market schema. So what you have to do in every session when you get an issue, the second command use market star schema is the command that you always have to do before issuing. So any SQL command in every session, so that is quite understandable. Otherwise, how my SQL workbench will know on which database it should be executed this command. So we have to do this in every session, which whatever schema we want to use, we have to write it down. Otherwise, how our database, our SQL will understand on which database you want to do what operation. See, so before performing operation, any type of, you have to use this command use market star schema, and this will be entered by semicolon. Similarly, create database this XYZ by this. So now what you are going to do, so you have now created a database, however, it holds no meaning without its constituent table. Now, in the next video, you will learn about the create table command and create a table containing 3 columns along with their respective data type. So, what you have learned, how to create database, how to use database, why we are using star schema, and in every session which one command we don't want to use. So see, create database is not a command you have to use every time. So create database, and after that inserting tables, this is the thing you have to create only once. After that what we use, we only do use command use database XYZ, then we do operate on that particular database. Otherwise, these all other commands of create database will be used only once. I hope you understood how to create the database and how to use the database. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much.